Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. In the heart of the savannah, nestled between towering trees and whispering grasslands, lay the village of Umudike. It was a village of fierce warriors, known far and wide for their strength and valor in battle. Among these warriors was a man named Ikennga, a towering figure with muzzles like coiled serpents and eyes that burned with the fire of determination. Ikennga was the greatest warrior Umudike had ever known, feared by enemies and revered by friends. He was strong and muscular, the admiration of every maiden, and sometimes petty fights broke out in the market square because of him, with one lady or another claiming to be his future bride. Yet, for all his strength and prowess in battle, his striking figure, there was one thing that eluded him: a love as fierce and passionate as his own spirit. He was yet to find a maiden whose presence made his lungs shiver. One day, as the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting golden hues across the land, Ikennga caught sight of her, the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her skin was like bronze in the sun, her hair long and lush, and her name was Choma. She moved with the grace of a gazelle, her dark hair cascading down her slender back. From that moment, Ikennga was smitten. He sought Choma's hand in marriage, despite the warnings of his friends and relatives. They spoke of dark omens and whispered tales of Choma's origins, but Ikennga paid them no heed. His heart was set, and nothing could sway him from his path. Every day, he would stalk Choma on her way to the stream, sweet-talking her and making many promises. He would help her carry her water keg all the way to the house. Within weeks, rumors of their love story spread through the village. The other maidens of the village were not happy about this, so they came up with all forms of tactics to win Ikennga's affection and to turn his eye away from the evil witch, as they had grown to call Choma. They fetch water for him, cook and clean everywhere. They would help in farm work, and some even gave bribes to his kinsmen under the promise of them being the bride for Ikennga. But all this proved fatal, as Ikennga would refuse eating their food, and the food would often get spoiled in the kitchen, with the next maiden coming and throwing it out, then replacing it with her own delicacy, with which she believed would be more appealing to Ikennga. But even that too will be untouched and abandoned. Every week, the news of whose food was thrown out would make rounds around the village, and other maidens would mock her, saying she does not know how to cook, and that was why Ikennga didn't eat her food. On the other hand, Ikennga would shower lots of gifts and affection on Choma, even beating about the bushes to help her with the house chores when her parents had left the house. After many months of pleas, against all odds, Choma accepted Ikennga's proposal, and they were wed beneath the sprawling branches of the village's oldest baobab tree. The celebration was grand, with drums pounding and fires blazing into the night sky. As the years passed, Ikennga and Choma's love only deepened, but despite their fervent desires, they remained childless. Ikennga grew troubled, wondering why the gods had denied them the blessing of children. Then, one fateful night, Ikennga stumbled upon a secret that would shatter his world forever. He followed Choma deep into the heart of the savannah, where he witnessed a sight that chilled him to the bones. There, beneath the silvery light of the full moon, Choma transformed into a majestic lioness. her eyes gleaming with ancient wisdom. Ikennga watched in stunned silence as she padded gracefully towards a hidden shrine, her every movement sparkling, a speaking of power and majesty. When Choma got to the front of the shrine, she transformed into her human form and started making incantations, seeking entry from the gods as the priestess and stating how she remained undefiled by not bearing a child for a man who was not from their kingdom. It was at that moment that Ikennga understood the truth. Choma was not just a woman, but the priestess and custodian of the neighboring village's tradition, a village that had long been sworn enemies of Umudike, and her family, descendants of slaves taken by Umudike in past ages, had settled in the neighboring village, biding their time and weaving their intricate webs of deception. Choma's duty as a custodian was to protect her village at all costs, even if it meant sacrificing her own happiness. Every full moon, she would take on the form of a lioness, venturing into the wilderness to sustain the life of her people and prevent their extinction. Overwhelmed by grief and betrayal, Ikennga confronted Choma. His heart was heavy with sorrow. He pleaded with her to forsake her duties and flee with him, telling her how they could leave the past behind and go on to start a new future together, and perhaps, if the gods willed it, a family. But Choma refused. Her loyalty to her people was unwavering, even in the face of love. Heartbroken and filled with rage, Ikennga returned to Umudike, his mind consumed with thoughts of vengeance. He revealed Choma's secret to his fellow warriors, igniting a firestorm of fury that swept through the village like a raging inferno. The moment Ikennga left the shrine, Choma sprang into action, performing sacrifices to shield the shrine from human eye, and having gotten visions of war, made incantations to protect her people. Yes, she loved Ikennga with all her heart, but she could not bear to see her whole village go extinct. She could not see her mother, father, friends, and relatives go dead cold. Also, she could have her happy after. Even if it meant living in misery for the rest of her life, her devotion as a priestess came before anything else. It was all she had. It was all her people had, after the years of oppression by the people of Umudike. In Umudike, with Ikennga at their helm, the warriors of Umudike marched upon the neighboring village, their swords gleaming in the sunlight as they prepared to do battle. But their enemies were prepared, and their defense strong, and resolve unyielding. In the midst of the chaos and bloodshed, Ikennga fought with the ferocity of a wounded lion, his every blow fueled by a burning desire for revenge. But in the end, it was not enough. The warriors of Umudike were outnumbered and outmatched, their village left in ruins as the enemy claimed victory. In his final moments, as darkness closed in around him, Ikennga thought of Choma, the woman he had loved with all his heart, and all that could have been. Despite the pain and betrayal, he found solace in the knowledge that she was safe, her village preserved for generations to come. And so, as the last embers of life flickered and died, Ikennga closed his eyes, his spirit joining the endless expanse of the African sky, where legends are born and warriors find their rest.